Hello royalties, welcome to yet another video. My name is Tete. To those of you who are coming in here for the first time, thank you for stepping by, thank you for tuning in. And to those of you who have been in here, thank you very much for sticking by. So to those of you who are new, this is a channel where we heal, we grieve, we mourn, and we reach a stage of acceptance and healing. And this is a theme series of loss and grief. Today we are going to talk about a topic of grieving childhood traumas. So I have my notes in here and I have 6 stages which will help us to navigate healing our childhood traumas. So I'm gonna start by reading each and every one out, and then I'll go back to discussing each and every topic. So the first stage on grieving childhood traumas says acknowledge the trauma. The second one says grieve the loss of innocence. The third one says grieve the impact on relationships. The fourth one says focus on self-reflection. The fifth one says create a new narrative. The last one, which is the 6th one, says forgive and let go of the past. So let's go back to the first one, royalties, that says acknowledge the trauma. Recognize the trauma you experienced and its impact on your life. So royalties, it is very much important to recognize what you've gone through, to recognize the impact it has or it has caused, or the grief it has caused on your life, to recognize the pain that you went through because of the traumatic experiences. Sometimes we get to this space of feeling like when I process the grief, or when I process the experiences or the traumatic experience and its impact, we feel like we are digging the pain unnecessarily. Sometimes we feel more comfortable in just ignoring what happened, ignoring the traumatic experience, and ignoring the pain that is attached to the traumatic experience. But in dealing that, it's not like we have moved on, but we have escaped the pain. And in escaping the pain, it means we have escaped or avoided our healing process. We need to go through the process, royalties. We need to acknowledge what we went through and how it affected us. So it is very much important to live in the moment, to live in the pain and process it until you reach a step or a stage of healing and you move forward. The second one that says grieve the loss of innocence. Mourn the loss of a carefree childhood and innocence that was taken from you. So sometimes when we go through a traumatic experience, royalties, it depends on the experience that you went through. Some people go through something like maybe physical abuse, sexual abuse, rejection, or many other forms of a trauma. So it is very much important to mourn the loss of carefree childhood. If you've experienced an abuse, maybe sexual abuse or physical abuse, or any abuse that traumatized you to a point of, it's like it locked you in your corner, in your cage, where you live alone, you experience your emotions alone, you are just isolated. The traumatic experience caused you to self-isolate. So that is because you don't trust your surroundings anymore. You have lost the carefree childhood experience. As a child of very early ages of your growing, you experience this trauma, and it has taken away your carefree childhood experience. You no more trust who is around you. You no more know who's the next person who's going to hurt you. So it's very much important to mourn that loss of carefree childhood. Number 3, that says grieve the impact on relationships. It says mourn the impact of the trauma on your relationships with family, friends, and romantic partners. Sometimes the people who cause us traumatic experiences, more especially as children in our early stages of development, majority of the time it's family members maybe who just out of ignorance or just out of their pain, like they traumatized you, they caused you pain because they were carrying forward their own pain. Joyce Meyer says it's very clear, royalties, that hurting people hurt others. Sometimes other people will hurt us intentionally or unintentionally. They're just operating from their place of pain, from their place of brokenness, and that they just carry forward the pain to their next victim, because they have been a victim of someone else, so they carry forward the pain to the next person. This is what we call a generational curses. So it is important to mourn the impact that trauma caused, or the negative impact that it had on your relationships with that family person or family member or a friend or just a stranger or whoever the case may be, or whatever the case may be. It is important to mourn that trauma, or mourn the impact that trauma caused on those relationships. And number 4, royalties says focus on self-reflection. This means consider how the trauma has impacted your life. Recognize and identify patterns and triggers related to the trauma. Take responsibility for your healing. So in considering how trauma has impacted your life, it means you are taking stock. This is how now I'm feeling, that I've gone through this traumatic experience. This is the emotions or feelings that I inherited from the pain, and this is how now I'm feeling. And now that I know this is how I'm feeling, this is how much the pain or the trauma changed me, I know I have to get back to a right place. I have to get back to being myself. Being angry at every other person around you, or throwing anger tantrums, it's important to recognize, because I'm not an angry person, but now I'm an angry person because it is the pain that I accumulated from the trauma. This is not who I am, but I'm willing to deal with this pain and go back to the person that I know myself to be. Number 5, create a new narrative. Reframe the trauma as part of your life story, but not defining feature. Develop a new sense of self-identity that is not defined by trauma. Focus on resilience and ability to survive and thrive despite the trauma. So on this point, royalties, it says reframe the trauma as part of your lifestyle, not defining feature. Make sure that you do not look at the trauma as who you are, as a thing that defines you or defines your future or defines your past. You are not the trauma that you experienced, but you are an individual who has gone through a traumatic experience. Develop a new sense of self-identity that is not defined by trauma. Find who you are apart from the traumatic experience that you went through. Who you are apart from the self of you that is in pain, that is in agony, that is going through the experience of the traumatic experience. Apart from that, who are you? Find that person, help that person to grow, to heal, and to dominate in your sense of self. Focus on resilience and ability to survive and thrive despite the trauma. Find out, royalties, what makes you happy, what makes you to thrive. Focus on doing those things. Focus on positive energy. Focus on achieving things. Maybe if you were a person who wanted to go back to school or to do a certain degree in a tertiary institution, go and achieve that. Go and find that path for yourself. Enroll, do that course, try new things, go out, be a person that is happy in spite of what you went through. Remember, royalties, you are responsible for your own happiness. So try to find a comfort space and dwell in that comfort space as you learn and grow and develop, and as you take yourself out of the traumatic experience and the emotions attached to it. Number 6, forgive and let go of the past. Pray and ask God to take away the pain, the shame, and the bitterness, restoring your new sense of self. I always say in my videos, royalties, that let us not underestimate the power of prayer. Sometimes even if you don't feel like you are that kind of a prayer warrior or a praying person, but when you feel that kind of pain inside of you, only God can take away that pain. Just try him. Just go to God and say, you know what, God, I'm not even used to this thing of prayer or connecting to you, but I come to you because I want healing. I want something or someone who will take away this pain. So I have just come to you, Lord, to pray and ask you to heal me. God knows what we went through. God knows what kind of healing do we need in order for us to heal and self-actualize. God has your healing power. God has what you need. God has what you need, royalties, for you to find your sense of healing and for your sense of self to develop, be developed, and be that kind of a person who's growing and learning to live away from pain. So this is the long and short of this video, royalties. I hope you find something, a thing or two that you can learn and take away from this video. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, royalties. It helps the channel to grow. So this is the last part of the theme series, Loss and Grief. From next time, our next video will be based on a new theme series called Parent-Child Support. On that theme series, royalties, I'll be speaking more about our parenting skills as parents, the mistakes that we do, where do we need to grow. We'll be learning together and realizing our mistakes and growing together as a community. Thank you very much, royalties, for tuning up to this far. Thank you for watching these videos, and hope you're gonna join us again on our next theme series. Thank you very much, royalties. Take care. Don't forget that God loves you and I love you too. Bye bye.